Day 3 of Las Vegas Summer League is in the books. I'm just going to get right into it real quickly. And we're going to start with the Spurs Trailblazers because that's what everybody wants to hear. Scoot did not play in this game. Unfortunately, I don't remember why. I'm guessing they were just being precautious. Who knows? But we're going to start with Victor Wembanyama. Does anybody remember a couple days ago when Wemby played his first game against the Hornets? He had a 9, 8, and 3 block game. Does anybody remember that? And everybody was calling him mid. He was 2 for 13 from the field. People were calling him a bust on social media everywhere. Everybody was being full-blown overreacting. And it was crazy. And today, Wemby showed the haters wrong. He had 27 points, 9 for 14, 2 for 4 from 3, made 7 free throws, a double-double with 12 rebounds, and 3 blocks. And he played the least amount of minutes of the starters. He only played 27 minutes. Everybody else had over 30. Victor looked amazing in this game. It's just, this is what happens when you give a guy time to adjust to the league and unrust his jumper. Because his jumper looked amazing. His threes, he looked confident. In the first quarter, he made a very tough, contested jumper, mid-range jumper at the top of the key. Well, I guess below the top of the key, because it's not a 3. And to anybody else in the league, that's a contested jumper. To Wemby, it's wide open because he can shoot over anybody. This is what I'm saying. Wemby can never have a contested jumper unless, like, Giannis is on him with his 9-foot frame. Like, Wemby just looked amazing. He was getting dunks. He had a tip dunk to himself, and he did it in one motion. Like, he's not just tall. He's athletic. He can dribble. He was doing dribble moves up the court. He was bringing the ball up the court. Wasn't really facilitating. He had 0 assists. And then he had 3 blocks. He's the best paint presence in the Summer League by far. I don't know. There's definitely no one who can contend. And he's going to be the best paint presence defensively in the league. I bet anything that he will. Because he can come from the left side of the court to the middle of the court to defend the paint in less than a second with his wide frame and his athleticism. Because he's very good and quick laterally as well. So I'm just glad that everybody can stop talking about how he's going to be a bust because he proved literally everyone wrong yesterday. With the other Spurs, Julian Champagnie, his only basket that he had was like a poster. Other than that, he was 1 for 6, only scored 4 points. They lost this game 80-85. But let me tell you, that was not on Wemby because Wemby was doing everything he could in the fourth quarter to get them the dub. But there were some shots by Blake Wesley, particularly at the end of the game, that were very ill-advised. He shot a very contested 3 when he should have passed back to Wemby on a fast break. Malachi Branham absolutely choked the game. He was 1 for 17. 1 for 17. How do you shoot 1 for 17? I don't know how you shoot 1 for 17. And I'm high on Malachi Branham. I think he's going to be very good this year. He had a decent rookie campaign. I think he's going to have a better sophomore one. But he only had 6 points off of his 1 for 17 shooting. His only shot was a 3, so that's a bonus. You get 1 extra point. He shot 50% on free throws, 3 for 6, and he had 5 fouls. He had the second most fouls on the team. He choked the whole game for everybody. Barlow was easily the second best player on the floor, 8 for 12. He made some clutch mid-range jumpers at the end of the game to keep it close at least. As for the Trailblazers, like I said, Scoot didn't play. DeVoe, who got the start because Scoot didn't play, had 29 points, 10 for 17. He won them this game very easily. Walker had a clutch 3 at the end of the game. He had 13. Chris Murray, not a stellar performance. Only played 17 minutes. He had 0 points. Missed all 2 of his shots that he shot. Shaedon Sharpe, not a great game as well. He was 4 for 18. Had 9 points the whole game. He had the best plus minus on the team though. So that's a positive. He had 1 block, 1 steal. Off the bench, Reith had 13 points, 5 for 7 from the field, 1 for 2. But the Trailblazers looked good without Scoot. I don't think they're as good without him, but they played very well last night. Actually, no. I think the Spurs just played horrible. Everyone on the Spurs played horrible besides Wemby. Next game was Pistons Rockets. Well, actually, it was a game before, but we were all hoping that it would be the Thompson twins. Time to play, time to guard each other, but unfortunately, Amen Thompson for the Rockets is out with an ankle injury. He got his first game. I'll start with the Rockets. They won 113-101 against the Pistons. Jabari Smith has put on an amazing summer league showcase. If they win the tournament, there's no way he doesn't get MVP of summer league, which is a very obscure award. No one really cares. Does anybody care that Keegan Murray won summer league MVP last year? I don't think so. I don't even think anybody knows that. I only know that because I saw a thumbnail of a YouTube video saying it. But regardless, Jabari Smith, 38 points, 13 for 25 from the field, 3 for 10 on 3, made 9 free throws, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. He was doing everything. And if you watch my video from 2 days ago talking about Jabari, I'm not high on him, but I have to give credit where credit is due. He's been playing amazing. He's looking way more confident. His shot is looking way more confident. He's actually making moves off the dribble, not just catch and shoot jumpers. So maybe this year Jabari Smith is just going to excel his sophomore year. Who knows? I'm not praying on his downfall. I hope he does well. Last year he didn't look like what people were expecting him to be, like the second coming of Kevin Durant. But maybe he's going to prove everybody wrong this year. Who knows? Tari Eason, another great young player for the Rockets, 26 points, 12 for 25 from the field. He played great. Cam Whitmore, 20th overall pick this year, who it was a steal for Rockets, like I've been saying, an absolute steal for the Rockets, getting him at 20 when he should have been top 10 at least. He had 21 points, 9 for 16, 3 for 7. He's just really athletic, and his jumper is very smooth. Other than those 3 players for the Rockets, no one really did anything at all. But they won. They only needed those 3 players to win. So there's nothing really else I can say about them. As for the Pistons, Asar Thompson, the other twin who is playing, had a better showcase than his debut. He had 12 points, well, at least shooting-wise. He had 12 points, 6 for 13 from the field. Didn't make either of his 2 threes that he shot, but he had 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. He's just looking like what they drafted him to do, being very versatile, being very efficient on defense, not doing too much that is not in his role. I mean, he did shoot 2 threes, which his jumper is not his main sign of where his talent comes from. It's his defense and his rebounding, which he did very well. But it's looking like he's getting comfortable with the jumper, which I think will be a good thing. Jalen Duren he's looking absolutely amazing. He's looked like he's been working hard in the offseason. He had 23 points, 10 for 14 from the field. He was doing dribble moves. He had a jumper. He's looking great. He had 10 assists as well, 1 block. But he's just looking great. He's looking like he's improved his offense a lot. His main focus his rookie year was that he was a lob threat and just a paint beast. That's all he was. No jumper, nothing. Anything outside the paint, you can leave Jalen Duren alone. But this year, people are going to have to start guarding him because he's going to be looking dangerous. Their other sophomore player, Jaden Ivey, had a way better game than his debut. His debut, he shot very horribly. He played not well at all. He had 22 points this game, 9 for 15 from the field, 10 assists. So he was distributing it well. A lot of those to Jalen Duren. James Wiseman had a solid game. He did get crossed up by Jabari Smith, but that's besides the point. James Wiseman, 17 points, 10 rebounds. Solid game. James Wiseman is still looking a little shaky on like help defense, pick and roll defense, things like that. But I still believe in James Wiseman. This is going to be his fourth year. He's obviously done nothing. Everybody calls him a bust. I don't think he's going to be the talent that he was drafted for at number 2, but I think he can be a very good role player, maybe even a semi-decent starter for the Pistons at least. So the Pistons' future is looking very bright. I mean, their whole starting lineup is playing Summer League, which is not what you want besides Cade Cunningham. So they're going to have a lot of time. They're not going to be good for the next 2 years at least, but maybe down the road in the future they'll be really good. Now, just looking at other games around the league, those were the only 2 games I actually watched yesterday. Lakers Hornets, Brandon Miller, number 2 overall pick, shot very inefficient. That's what it's looking like it's been. He's very inefficient. He's very inconsistent when it comes to his shooting nights. He had 10 points, 4 for 18 from the field, 0 threes made. He had 8 rebounds, 4 assists, so not terrible. But the Hornets Summer League team, which I thought was going to be really good because they have so many like star-studded rookies and sophomores, but they are looking very horrible. Wizards Celtics was a close game. Champagne for the Celtics. I didn't even know they had a Champagne. He had 21 points. He was the leading scorer of that game. Wizards win 103-98. Hawks Nuggets. Martin had 21 points. Kobe Buffkin had his best game as a Hawk. I mean, it's only his second game. But he's their first-round draft pick this year. He had 17 points, 6 for 19 from the field. It's not that efficient, but it was all right. It was all right of a game. Warriors Pelicans. Lester Quinones is just keeping his scoring going, looking like he's going to be a nice replacement for Jordan Poole off the bench. Brandon Podziemski, their first-round draft pick, almost had a triple-double. 10 points, 10 assists, 9 rebounds. I'm liking what I'm seeing from him. His shooting needs to get better a lot, but his assisting and rebounding is very good. He's a bigger type guard, which is what the league is turning towards, which is very good. For the Raptors, Grady Dick has not been performing very well, sadly to say. He had 11 points yesterday, 5 for 13. Marquise Noel also not performing well, 2 for 11 from the field, 5 points. Not the greatest. For the Cavs, Imani Bates, he just keeps on shooting. That's all he does. He shoots and shoots. He had 12 points, 5 for 12 from the field. Not horrible, honestly. Isaiah Mobley, Evan Mobley's brother, 15 points. He had 9 of those points were from the free throw line, so he was getting to the line a lot. But yeah, that's all that really happened yesterday. Not too much news besides Victor. So I really hope people stop hating on Victor for that one game. That one, not even bad game, just one mid-game he had. Some more games tonight. Pacers Magic might be good. I'll be watching T-Wolves Jazz, of course, as a T-Wolves fan. So we'll just see what happens tonight.